I still remember vividly the day I set foot on Okinawa, a small island in southern Japan known as the land of the world's longest living people. This wasn't just a vacation. It was a journey to find the answer to a question that had haunted me for years. How can we live long and stay healthy at the same time? I had been an office worker in a crowded city, eating in a hurry, sleeping late, and constantly stressed. During a routine checkup, my doctor told me my cholesterol was high, my blood lipids weren't looking good, and if I didn't change my lifestyle, I'd be facing illness sooner than I thought. His words kept me awake for many nights. By chance, I came across an article about Okinawa, where the number of people living past 100 is 3 times the global average. Even more amazing, they remain healthy, clear-minded, and almost free of chronic diseases. What was their secret? The article briefly mentioned that it had much to do with their diet and lifestyle, but I wanted to see it with my own eyes. So, I booked a flight and decided to spend a month in Okinawa to find out. First impressions. Meals unlike anywhere else. On my very first day, I was invited to have dinner with a local family. In front of me was a colorful spread, but not the luxurious dishes I had imagined long-lived people would eat. Instead, there were simple foods: a plate of steamed purple sweet potatoes, a bowl of miso soup with seaweed and tofu, a bit of grilled mackerel, and a small bowl of brown rice. What surprised me most was how small the portions were. I was used to filling my plate, but here each dish was just enough to taste, with nothing excessive. When I asked about it, the 92-year-old grandmother, still quick and lively, smiled and said, "We eat until we're about 80% full. In Okinawa, we call this Hara Hachi Bu." She explained that eating to only 80% fullness prevents overloading the body, eases digestion, and keeps you feeling light. Modern science also confirms that eating slightly less than you need can trigger the body's natural cell repair mechanisms, an important factor in extending lifespan. A morning on the island. Breakfast of the centenarians. The next day, I woke up early and walked to the morning market. The air was different here, the smell of the sea, the scent of fresh vegetables, and the cheerful sound of voices. I bought a breakfast like the locals: steamed purple sweet potato, a small bowl of miso soup, a few slices of papaya, and hot green tea. Okinawa's purple sweet potatoes are especially rich in anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that help reduce inflammation, improve heart health, and even lower cancer risk. Locals eat them almost every day, but in the simplest way: steamed or boiled, with little seasoning. As I sat eating, I noticed everyone around me ate slowly, chewing thoroughly, and almost no one was glued to a phone while eating. Here, meals aren't just about fueling the body. They're a living ritual, a moment to connect with the food, with family, and with oneself. The first lesson I learned. After a few days, I realized that how you eat is just as important as what you eat. The Okinawans eat plenty of fresh vegetables, fruits, and especially purple sweet potatoes. Eat fish in moderation, and little red meat. Include many fermented foods like miso and natto to support gut health. Drink green tea rich in catechins to slow aging. Eat slowly, pay attention to fullness, and stop before feeling too full. I started applying this to my own meals, and within just a week, I felt lighter, slept better, and had more energy in the mornings. But this was only the surface of the story. I wanted to know why such a simple diet could help them live so long and stay so healthy, and whether there were other secrets hidden in their eating habits. It was during a conversation with a 101-year-old man in Ogimi, famously known as the Village of Longevity, that I began to uncover the next secret. A conversation with a 101-year-old man. I went to Ogimi, a small, peaceful village in northern Okinawa, celebrated worldwide for its longevity. Here, the percentage of people over 90 and even 100 is so high that it amazes scientists. I was introduced to Mr. Shinzato, 101 years old, with a head of white hair, bright eyes, and a clear, steady voice. He still tends his garden every morning, grows vegetables, cares for flowers, and sometimes even rides his bicycle to the market. When I asked for his secret to longevity, he smiled warmly and said, "You want to know my secret? Let's start with the stomach. Eat plenty of plants, but not strictly vegetarian." Mr. Shinzato told me that traditional Okinawan meals are centered around vegetables, not meat. Leafy greens, radishes, pumpkin, purple sweet potatoes, and bitter melon, Goya, appear almost every day. However, they don't completely cut out meat or fish. Fish is eaten about 2 to 3 times a week, mainly mackerel, tuna, and sardines, all rich in heart-healthy omega-3s. Red meat is rare, usually reserved for special occasions. Soybeans and soy-based foods like tofu, natto, and miso are staples, providing clean, plant-based protein. Modern science calls this a plant-based diet, but it's not extreme. Research shows that a diet rich in vegetables and low in red meat can reduce the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, while supplying plenty of antioxidants to protect cells. As Mr. Shinzato put it, eat fish for a strong heart, vegetables for clean blood, and soy for strong muscles. Eat meat sparingly, just enough for your body to remember the taste. Secret number 2. Hara Hachi Bu. Stop eating while you still want more. I'd first heard about this from the elderly lady I met on my first day, but Mr. Shinzato explained it in more detail. Hara Hachi Bu is the habit of stopping when you're about 80% full. It helps prevent excess calorie intake, reduces metabolic strain, and avoids weight gain. In fact, studies show that reducing calorie intake by 10 to 15% from your body's needs can trigger autophagy, the body's process of self-cleaning damaged cells, which plays a role in anti-aging. In this village, children are taught from a young age to eat slowly, chew well, listen to their bodies, and stop before they feel completely full. Eat fast, and only your stomach feels full. Eat slow, and your heart feels full, Mr. Shinzato said with a smile. Secret number 3. A rainbow on the plate. One thing I noticed, Okinawan meals are always colorful. Purple from sweet potatoes, green from leafy vegetables, yellow from pumpkin, and red-orange from carrots and sweet peppers. Mr. Shinzato explained, each color in food contains different antioxidants. Eating the rainbow ensures the body gets a full range of micronutrients and polyphenols that protect against many diseases. For example, purple, anthocyanins, reduce inflammation, protect the brain. Dark green, chlorophyll, lutein, support eye and liver health. Red-orange, beta-carotene, lycopene, promote heart health and fight cancer. Secret number 4. Fermented foods. Protection from the inside. I noticed almost every household here had jars of miso, natto, or pickled vegetables. Mr. Shinzato said a healthy gut is the foundation of longevity. Fermented foods provide probiotics that balance gut microbiota, improve nutrient absorption, and boost immunity. Scientific studies also show that people who regularly eat fermented foods have a lower risk of inflammatory bowel disease, obesity, and diabetes. Secret number 5. Green tea, a daily companion. I couldn't help but notice that Mr. Shinzato always had a teapot of green tea nearby. He told me he drinks at least 3 to 4 cups a day. Green tea contains catechins, powerful antioxidants that reduce inflammation, improve blood vessel function, and lower the risk of stroke. It also helps with mental alertness, without the jittery side effects of coffee. A moment that stopped me in my tracks. Before I left his home, Mr. Shinzato handed me a purple sweet potato and said, "It's not just what you eat that matters, it's how you appreciate each bite. Eat to live, but don't live to eat." His words made me realize that the Okinawan diet isn't just about science. It's a philosophy of life, simple, unhurried, knowing when enough is enough, and being grateful. I left his home with a notebook full of observations, but I knew my journey to uncover Okinawa's secrets to longevity was far from over, because beyond their diet, I had heard whispers of another key that keeps them living long, happy, and healthy, something tied to the way they live every day. And I was determined to find out what it was. The slow but long life. Rhythm of Okinawa. I woke up to a cool, fresh morning in Ogimi, opened the window, and took a deep breath. The air was crisp, the distant crowing of roosters echoed through the hills, and I could hear the gentle sound of waves lapping the shore. It struck me that since I had arrived, I hadn't once heard the blaring of car horns or felt the constant rush that defines city life. That day, I was invited to join a village community activity, but it wasn't a dull meeting. It was a group gardening session. From elderly men and women with silver hair to middle-aged neighbors and even children, everyone had a role. Some dug the soil, some watered the plants, others pulled weeds. Secret number 6. Gentle daily movement. I was amazed to see a 95-year-old woman swiftly pulling weeds, her back slightly bent, but her eyes bright. When I asked if she exercised every day, she chuckled. "I don't exercise the way you young people mean it, but I'm always moving." She explained that here, no one spends the whole day sitting still like many people in the city. They garden, walk, cook, climb a few steps, go to the market. Light, but constant movements that keep blood flowing, muscles strong, and joints flexible. Science calls this NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the calories burned from non-exercise physical activity. Studies show that higher NEAT levels lower the risk of heart disease and diabetes, and can even extend lifespan. Secret number 7, time for the community. After gardening, everyone gathered around a long table, sharing sweet potatoes, green tea, and lively conversation. I noticed no one was glued to their phone, and no one seemed in a hurry. An elderly man named Tyra told me, "Here, you never feel alone. We have neighbors, friends, family. Everyone knows each other." Sociological research shows that strong social connections can reduce the risk of premature death by 50%. Feeling connected and loved reduces stress, boosts immunity, and protects mental health. In Okinawa, they call this moai, a lifelong circle of friends or neighbors who support each other both emotionally and practically. Secret number 8, a clear purpose in life. That afternoon, I met Mrs. Fumiko, 102 years old, still sharp-minded, and sewing clothes with her own hands. She told me that every morning she wakes at 5 a.m. to water her flowers and sew for her great-grandchildren. She mentioned a Japanese word that piqued my curiosity, ikigai, meaning a reason to live, or the joy of getting up each morning. For Fumiko, her ikigai is tending to her flower garden. For Mr. Taira, it's teaching the village children how to fish. For another elderly friend, it's cooking traditional dishes for her family. Japanese researchers have found that people with ikigai live longer and have lower rates of illness, as a positive outlook reduces stress hormones and improves heart health and immunity. Secret number 9, enough sleep, but not laziness. Nights in Ogimi are peaceful. Dinner is around 6 p.m., dishes are washed by 7, and then people spend time talking or reading. By around 9 p.m., most are asleep. They sleep 7 to 8 hours a night and often wake with the sunrise. Interestingly, they don't oversleep during the day. If they nap, it's just a short 20-minute rest, enough to recharge without disrupting nighttime sleep. Quality sleep allows the body to repair cells, balance hormones, and maintain memory. Sleeping enough, and sleeping well, is one of the silent secrets to longevity. Secret number 10, relieving stress through small rituals. I had assumed that living in the countryside meant little to no stress, but Mr. Shinzato said, "No one lives without worries. The difference is, we know how to let them go." Okinawans have many small rituals to ease stress, brewing tea and sipping it slowly, meditating for a few minutes before meals, or simply sitting by the sea and watching the waves. Research shows that chronic stress can shorten telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes, which in turn shortens lifespan. Daily relaxation habits like meditation, deep breathing, or tea drinking can help slow this process. The lesson I took from Okinawa's pace of life. Looking back, I realized that the people of Okinawa don't live long because of one single secret, but because of a whole way of life. Healthy eating, gentle exercise, a close-knit community, a clear sense of purpose, and a calm mind. Most importantly, they don't race against time. They live slowly, savor every moment, and that, unintentionally, becomes a natural longevity medicine. However, I still had one question. If everything here is so wonderful, could someone like me, living in a city, busy and under constant pressure, actually apply it? The answer came during my last days in Okinawa, when a local family invited me to experience a day in the life of a native, from morning until night. I'm like living like an Okinawan. That day, I was invited to the home of Mr. and Mrs. Shimabukuro in the outskirts of Naha. They said, "Spend one whole day with us. Eat as we eat, do as we do, just one day, and you'll understand why we live long and happy." I nodded, a mix of excitement and curiosity bubbling inside. 5:30 a.m. Waking up with the sunrise. The sound of birds and the scent of the sea breeze woke me. The simple wooden house had no air conditioning, just the cool, natural wind drifting in. I realized that here, no one needs an alarm clock. Your body naturally wakes when the sun rises. Mrs. Shimabukuro invited me into the garden to pick vegetables for breakfast. Lush green rows of leafy greens were dotted with purple sweet potatoes and plump red tomatoes. As she worked, she told me that just stepping into the garden every morning, breathing in fresh air, and watching the plants grow is enough to lift her mood for the entire day. 6 a.m. A simple but nourishing breakfast. We prepared breakfast together. A small bowl of brown rice sprinkled with toasted sesame seeds, steamed purple sweet potatoes, a warm bowl of miso soup with tofu, wakame seaweed, and slices of shiitake mushrooms, plus a plate of golden ripe papaya. A pot of green tea steamed gently on the table. The whole family sat around a low wooden table. Before eating, everyone quietly placed their hands together and said, "Itadakimasu." Thank you for this meal. I could feel the genuine gratitude in that moment, something I rarely experience back in the city. 8 a.m. Gentle movement. After breakfast, Mr. Shimabukuro invited me for a walk along the nearby beach. We strolled along the sand, talking and laughing. I noticed that exercise here isn't about forcing yourself, not about running until you're breathless, but about blending movement into daily life, gardening, walking, sweeping the yard, climbing a few steps. He told me, the body is like a stream. It must always keep flowing. When it stops, it stagnates. And when it stagnates, life stops too. 10:30 a.m. Light work and community. I followed Mrs. Shimabukuro to the community center, where everyone was preparing lunch for children and elderly people living alone. Everyone was busy, but no one seemed stressed. From time to time, they paused to tell jokes or sing a folk song. This sense of connection made me truly understand the concept of moai that old Mr. Taira had told me about. No one is left behind. Everyone has a tribe to rely on. 12 p.m. The rainbow lunch. That day's lunch was truly a colorful painting. Bitter melon stir-fried with eggs, deep green, rich in vitamin C and antioxidants. Grilled mackerel, silvery, omega-3 for heart health. Carrots simmered with miso. Orange, beta-carotene to protect the eyes and skin. Seaweed and tofu salad. Light green, minerals and calcium. Brown rice. I noticed that each person's portion was just enough. No one ate until they were stuffed. When they reached about 80% full, they stopped. 3 o'clock p.m. A moment of rest. After lunch, everyone took a short 20-minute break. It wasn't deep sleep, just lying down, closing their eyes, and letting their bodies relax. Mrs. Shimabukuro brewed me a cup of chamomile tea, telling me this time of day helps the body recharge and the mind settle. 5 o'clock p.m. Afternoon. Activities and laughter. I joined the couple back in the garden to harvest some vegetables to give to their neighbors. When we arrived at their home, I witnessed something that touched me deeply. Elderly folks sitting together playing cards, children running around, and everyone laughing. The laughter here wasn't forced. It came from simple, everyday stories. I remembered a study I once read. Laughter reduces stress hormones and increases endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. 6:30 p.m. A light dinner and family stories. Dinner was just vegetable soup, a bit of steamed fish, a few slices of sweet potato, and a wedge of watermelon for dessert. Afterward, everyone sat together, sharing stories from the past or singing songs. There was no blaring TV, no one glued to their phone. 9 o'clock p.m. Peaceful sleep. When I got into bed, I felt an unusual lightness in my body and a calm in my mind. Just one day living like the people of Okinawa, and I was already sleeping more deeply. No tossing and turning. Lessons to bring into modern life. That night, I jotted these down in my notebook. Eat fresh, simple meals, mostly vegetables, little red meat. Stop eating when you're about 80% full. Move gently throughout the day instead of exercising only at one set time. Stay connected with your community and maintain meaningful relationships. Have a clear purpose in life so you wake up each morning with joy. Get enough sleep and take time to relax daily to reduce stress. I realized that longevity isn't about chasing complex formulas. It's about returning to simplicity and living in harmony with nature. The next day, I left Okinawa, but what I learned there will stay with me forever. From that moment, I began my journey to transform my own lifestyle. When Okinawa became part of my life. Back in the city, it felt as if I had returned from another world. The honking horns, the rush of daily life, and the jam-packed schedule instantly pulled me back into the familiar whirlwind. But this time, I had my Okinawa toolkit. The secrets I promised myself would never just sit in my notebook. Month 1. Small changes, big differences. I started with breakfast. Instead of coffee and pastries, I switched to a small bowl of brown rice, a few pieces of steamed sweet potato, and a cup of green tea. I also learned to say thank you before eating, not out of ritual, but as a reminder to appreciate my food. For lunch and dinner, I tried to follow these rules. Vegetables take up more than half the plate. Fish and tofu gradually replace red meat. Eat slowly and stop when about 80% full. At first, my coworkers said, "You must be starving with such small portions." Strangely, my body didn't feel tired at all. I actually felt lighter and more alert. Month 2. Adding movement into my day. I stopped taking the elevator and chose to walk up to my office on the 5th floor. In the evenings, I walked for 20 minutes around my neighborhood instead of staring at a screen. I realized you don't need intense gym workouts. Just consistent daily movement makes a difference. Standing up and stretching every hour, cleaning the house, tending to my balcony garden, it all adds up. In just 2 months, I lost 3 kilos, about 6.5 pounds, of belly fat without any extreme dieting. Month 3. Building my own moai. In the city, it's easy to feel lonely even when you're surrounded by millions of people. I decided to create a small group of friends and family, meeting up once a week for dinner or to exercise together. We shared our joys, supported each other through tough times, a modern version of a moai. Over time, I noticed my mood improving, my stress levels dropping, and I felt more motivated to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Month 6. The unexpected results. After 6 months of following the Okinawa formula, my cholesterol and blood lipid levels returned to normal. My blood pressure stabilized. I slept more deeply and rarely had nightmares. My skin looked brighter, and I woke up each morning feeling energized. The best part wasn't the numbers on paper. It was the feeling that I was truly living, not just existing. A message for you. I used to think longevity was all about good genes or luck. But after my journey to Okinawa and my own experience, I believe most of it comes down to our daily choices. You don't have to move to a remote island, and you don't have to change everything overnight. Start small. Eat more vegetables and less red meat. Eat slowly and stop before you're completely full. Move your body gently every day. Maintain close, supportive relationships. Get enough sleep and find your ikigai, your reason to get up every morning. Longevity isn't just measured by the number of years you live, but by the quality of each day you experience. And if you can, try living just one day like the people of Okinawa. You might just find the key to your own life. If you found this story and these longevity secrets from Okinawa helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. Every week, I'll share more insights and inspiring experiences to help you live healthier, longer, and truly happier.